your next reaction is your Dawkins reaction. Okay, so what is this Dawkins reaction? So you got an ortho or para hydroxyaldehyde or a ketone, okay, or an amino ortho amino benzaldehyde or a ketone, okay, ortho or para. So what happens in this case, your aldehyde groups is converted into your OH group in presence of your alkaline alkaline peroxides or acidic peroxide or perbenzoic acid, peracetic acid or sodium percarbonate using urea or urea and hydrogen peroxide. So what happens in all these conditions? In all these conditions, your OH, which has got and which your aldehydes or ketones, aromatic aldehydes and ketones, which contains an OH or an amino group at the ortho and para, it undergoes your rearrangement reaction, replacement reactions, where your aldehydes are replaced by your OH in ortho or para position by a hydroxyl group on the reaction with alkaline hydrogen peroxide. So this is a basic Dawkins reaction. So conversion of an orthohydroxy or a amino or a parahydroxy amino group in amino aldehydes, aromatic aldehydes, to its corresponding diol or a catechol. In this case, when it is an hydroxyl group, it converts into catechol in presence of alkaline hydrogen peroxide is known as Dawkins reaction. So now the product depends upon the starting material. If the ortho substituted phenol is the starting material, then catechol is formed. Okay, then catechol is formed. In this mechanism, if para substituted phenol is formed, then you get a quinol. Okay, quinol, that is OH at first and the fourth position. Depending upon the starting material, you get the product. So an oxidation of aldehydes and ketone to this corresponding phenols, okay, is known as Dawkins reaction. So conversion of your aldehydes and ketones to its corresponding phenols is known as your Dawkins reaction. The reaction is best if aromatic aldehyde ketones are electron rich. Electron donating groups favors this reaction. Okay, any electron donating group which is present in ortho and para position of your aldehyde and ketone favors this reaction. So now let's go for the mechanism of action. So here in this case we are considering parahydroxy acetobenzaldehyde. You are taking your parahydroxy benzaldehyde. You can take an ortho also depending upon. So in this case, and this OH is also electron donating. It shows a mesomeric effect when it is at the ortho, increases the electron density in the. So such type of products will show your Dawkins reaction. So what is the first step in oxidation? Dawkins oxidation reaction. Okay, it starts with nucleophilic addition of your hydrogen peroxide ion to the carbonyl carbon. So what is the first step? Your hydrogen peroxide ion, which is formed, it attacks on the carbonyl carbon, forming a tetrahedral intermediate. You see over here, you can see it. This attacks over here. It forms a tetrahedral 1, 2, 3, 4 tetrahedral intermediate. Okay. So what is the next thing? Once this tetrahedral intermediate is formed, the intermediate collapses because of the peroxide. It is unstable, this tetrahedral intermediate. It collapses and this causes an 1,2 aryl migration. So this causes an 1,2 aryl migration and hydroxide elimination, forming a phenyl ester. Okay, there is an 1,2 aryl migration. Okay, there is a migration of your. So what happens over here? If you see, there is an migration. Your O comes down, your phenyl group migrates to your OH, and there is a removal of your OH. Okay, so that is your ester formation takes place. Okay, you get your ester. Okay, phenolic ester you get your phenolic ester. That is with the elimination of your hydroxide. Now what is this phenolic acid? Now there is an OH, that is a base. So this OH that is released will attack on the carbonyl carbon of your ester. Your carbonyl carbon of your ester. Okay. So it will attack on the carbonyl carbon. If it is an ketone, it is an ester. If it is an aldehyde, it forms an acid. So this will attack on the carbonyl carbon. So then this leads to your hydrolysis and you get your phenoxide ion. You get your carboxylic acid or a ester and you get a corresponding acid and a phenoxide ion. So what does this phenoxide ion, being acidic in nature, abstract a proton from your carboxylic acid, yielding your product? That is your, in this case it is a quinol. So this is how your reaction takes place. So what is the first step in Dakin's reaction? First step is attack of your hydrogen peroxide anion on your carbonyl carbon. This leads to a tetrahedral intermediate. So this tetrahedral intermediate is unstable, it collapses, which leads to 1,2-aryl migration. With the loss of hydrogen, with the loss of hydroxyl ion and formation of your phenyl ester. Now this phenyl ester that is formed undergoes hydrolysis, or it undergoes an hydrolysis or phenolic acid, which is formed. In case of aldehyde, it is an acid. If it is an ketone, it is an ester. Okay. This undergoes hydrolysis to give you a corresponding carboxylic acid and a phenoxide. And this phenoxide, being acidic in nature, abstract a acidic proton from your carbonyl compound, carboxylic acid, to give your corresponding your substituted phenol, 1,4-dihydroxy group, benzene. So this is how the reaction takes place. Okay. Now factors affecting your Dakin's reaction. So rate reaction kinetics. So Dakin oxidation has two rate limiting steps. First is nucleophilic addition of your hydroxide to the carbonyl group, and the second one is 1,2. The first step is attack of your this thing, and the second rate limiting step is 1,2-aryl migration. The overall rate of oxidation depends upon the nucleophilicity of your hydrogen peroxide and the electrophilicity of your carbonyl carbon and the speed of migration of your 1,2. So what is this? So any carbonyl carbon group which is where the carbonyl group is electrophile, means which has got an electrophile, carbonyl group is electrophile, that is, so aldehydes are more favored than your ketones. So if there is an aldehyde, your carbonyl carbon is more electrophile compared to that of your ketone, because in case of ketone there is a methyl group which increases your electron density in your carbon, so it reduces the electron. So aldehydes are more favored. Next is what? 1,2-aryl migration. So aryl migration depends upon the substitution on your benzene ring. So anything which is electron rich will favor your 1,2. If the phenylic group, the benzene contains an electron donating group, it will stabilize your tetrahedral intermediate. This is formed. That's why it will favor 1,2-aryl migration. The alkyl substitution on the carbon relatively reduces the reaction. The relative position of hydroxyl. Why hydroxyl group? Position of your hydroxyl group is necessary because if it is at ortho and para, then only it shows your resonance mesomeric effect. If it is on a meta, it will not show. It will not have. So it will retard the rate. So if hydroxyl group or electron donating group is at ortho and para position, then only this reaction is favored. Okay. Presence of other functional groups in the reaction pH also are the 4 factors that affects the rate limiting step. So your pH of your reaction also affects the reaction. So most important thing, your nucleophilicity of your hydrogen peroxide anion. Second is your electrophilicity of your carbonyl group. So that's why it favors reaction where there is an aldehydic group rather than an ketonic group. And the third one is that it depends upon the substitutions on the phenyl group. Which groups? So any electron donating groups at ortho and para favors this reaction. Moreover, it depends upon the pH of the reaction. That also determines the rate of reaction. So these are the factors that affects the reaction kinetics. So variation in aryl ring migratory aptitude can be explained by hydroxyl group at ortho and para position to the carbonyl group concentrate the electron density on the carbonyl carbon bonded to your carbon. So they will favor the electron density to concentrate on the carbonyl. Phenyl groups have low migratory but high density electron density at the migrating carbon increases the migratory. So anything that increases your electron density in your phenyl group favors your migrate. As such, phenyl, because it has got a positive charge, so that will not be anything that increases the electron density in the ring favors the reaction. Metahydroxy, as I said, it will not have any effect. Okay, metahydroxy will not. Electron donating at the ortho and para to the increases the electron density at the migratory carbon. So it will increase the electron density that will favor your migration. So any group that increases your, so what is the migratory carbon over here? If you see the carbon which migrates, it is, see, this is formed. So when this comes, the carbon over here migrates. Okay, carbon which is in the benzene ring migrates to your oxygen. So anything that increases the electron density in your carbon, that will be migrate. Or any group that increases the electron density on the migratory carbon will favor the reaction. So electron density, so electron donating group favors this reaction. Okay. Now this is how the effect is. So this is the resonance effect that has been shown over here. So when there is an oxygen at ortho position, it increases the electron density at the para position, that is at the fourth position of your OH. It will increase the, so this will favor the movement of your electron. This will, similarly in case of ortho also, that will increase the electron density on the carbon which is migrating. Okay, which will be migrating. Whereas in case of beta, the electron density will not come on the migratory carbon. That's why this type of substitution is not favored. So only ortho and para will be favored. Okay, so that's why it is ortho para. Substituted aromatic aldehydes or ketones give this type of reaction. No meta substituted. Now application, it is used in the preparation of your 2,3-dihydroxy anisole. Okay, which is a very must start. It is used for the preparation of hydroxyquinone. It is used in the preparation of catechol. So all these reagents which are important for your medicinal chemistry starting materials are prepared using Dakin's reaction. So these were the applications and mechanism of Dakin's reaction. Okay, it is now uses. It is commonly used for the synthesis of benzene diols or alkoxyphenols. Okay, it is used for the preparation of alkoxyphenols and benzene diols. Catechol is an example, that is an orthohydroxy or ortho-alkoxyphenylaldehydes from the ketone used as the starting material for synthesis of this compound. So catechol amines also can be prepared where it contains an amino group at the ortho position. Other synthetically useful products of Dakin's oxidation is guaiacol, a precursor of various flavorants. Preparation of hydroxyquinone, which is used common for photographic development agent. Next is 2-tertiary butyl hydroxy anisole. Okay, anisole is what? Methanol, methoxy OH. Okay, methoxy OH. So this can be prepared. 2-tertiary butyl 4-hydroxy anisole can be prepared, and 3-tertiary butyl 1,4-dihydroxy anisole, which are the two antioxidants, can be prepared from the Dakin's reaction. Okay, these are used for the preparation of your antioxidants. In addition, Dakin oxidation is useful in the synthesis of indoquinones. So indole, which contains OH at the 1, 5 and 8 position, can be synthesized using this Dakin, which is used as an antifungal and anti-tumor activity. So these are the applications of Dakin's reaction. This is the application of Dakin's reaction. Okay, so next is Clemenson's reduction. You might have studied this Clemenson's reduction where in your synthesis of your naphthalene in anthracene, that is Haworth synthesis you have used for a conversion of your carbonyl to your methylenic carbonyl carbon into your methylenic carbon. So what is this reaction? Clemens reduction is a chemical reaction. It's a reduction of ketones or aldehydes and ketone to an alkane using zinc amalgam and HCl. So the condition is very much important to be remembered. So what is Clemenson's reduction? Clemenson's reduction is nothing but conversion of your aldehydes or ketones into its corresponding alkanes using your zinc amalgam, that is zinc and mercury combination in presence of HCl. Okay, so this is used for conversion of aldehydes and ketone into its corresponding alkanes. Okay, now let's go for the mechanism of action. If you see, the first step is protonation of your carbonyl group. First step is protonation of your carbonyl group by your acid, because the reaction is in acidic condition. So next is what? There is a transfer of electron from your carbonyl to your oxygen, generating a carbocation. So what is this? Next is formation of your OH, transfer of electron to form a carbanion. Okay. Now what is the next step? So it is, the reaction takes place in presence zinc amalgam. Now this zinc donates 2 electrons of it to your carbocation to form a carbanion. Okay. So this zinc metal donates its electron to your carbocation to form a carbanion. Now since the next is, now the reaction is what? The reaction is in acidic medium. So this H plus will attack over here and it will also form an OH plus OH2 plus anion. There is a loss of water, again forming a carbocation. Again the zinc gives 2 electrons which gets protonated by your acid to give your alkene. Okay. So what is the step? First step is protonation. Okay. Protonation of your carbonyl group to give the carbocation. There is a rearrangement. There is a tautomerism where the electron goes to your oxygen and you form a carbocation. Now this carbocation gets attacked by your zinc. The zinc gives away the 2 electrons to form a carbanion. Now this carbanion which is formed reacts in an acidic medium to form your H and OH2 plus. There is a loss of water, again formation of a carbocation, which gets again forms a carbanion. Okay, which again forms a carbanion and again gets protonated by your second hydrogen proton to give your corresponding alkene. So this is the mechanism of your Clemenson's reduction. First is protonation of your carbonyl group. Next is your formation of your carbocation. Then the transfer of 2 electrons from your zinc to the carbocation to form a carbanion. Now this carbanion which is formed gets protonated by your acidic medium, followed by protonation of your OH. This is followed by loss of water molecule. This is followed by loss of molecule to again form a carbocation, and this carbocation again gets protonated in your acidic medium to give your alkene. So this is the mechanism of your Clemenson's reduction. Now what is the application? Widely conversion your carbonyl group into your methylene. It is an important application in preparation of polycyclic aromatic and aromatic containing unbranched hydrocarbons. So Haworth synthesis it is used. It reduces aliphatic and mixed aliphatic aromatic carbonyl compound. Okay, it reduces aliphatic and mixed aliphatic aromatic carbonyl compounds to its corresponding methylenic group. Reduction of keto acids on acids with alpha beta ketone to correspond are generally not reduced by, so if it contains in keto acid usually with an alpha beta ketone, it generally does not get reduced by Clemenson. So it is only used for your conversion of your free aldehydes and ketones. So if you see in the example cholesterol, the carbonyl group in your steroids get reduced to your cholesterol by your zinc amalgam. It is used, it is a very mild condition which is used for conversion of your ketones into your corresponding alkene. So that is your application of Clemenson's reduction. That is your application of Clemenson's reduction. Next is your Wohl-Kirchner reaction. Next is your Clemenson's reduction. It takes place in acidic condition. Remember, now the Wohl-Kirchner, it is also a type of reduction reaction where you convert your carbonyl compound again into your alkene. So the reactions are same, but only the condition differs. Here the carbonyl functional group is converted into a methylenic or an alkane group. Okay. So Wohl-Kirchner reduction is an organic reaction used to convert aldehydes and ketone to an alkene using hydrazine and a base and at thermal condition and heating. So what is the condition? You treat your aldehydes and ketones with an hydrazine, that is NH2 NH2. Hydrazine are nothing but NH2 NH2, that in presence of a base and thermal condition to give you a corresponding alkene. So this is because the Wohl-Kirchner reduction requires basic condition, it is unsuitable for base sensitive substrate. So if the substrate is containing any ester and all, it might get hydrolyzed in this harsh condition because you heat it. So this is not favorable for such type of reaction. So what happens in this reaction? You treat your carbonyl group with an hydrazine. This hydrazine forms hydrazones. This hydrazone, when it is heated, your basic condition, there is a loss of nitrogen to give your corresponding alkene. So now let's go for the mechanism. First step is deep. So first step is what I said, hydrazone formation. Okay. So next step is your base abstracts a proton from your hydrazone. Okay, you have to write that step, hydrazone formation. Now your base abstract a proton from your hydrazone. So when this is base abstract a proton, then this leads to a formation of a carbanion and a azo compound. You get a carbanion, that is negative charge on your carbon, and a azo compound. So what is the next step? This azo compound, this carbanion, that is gets protonated in your aqueous medium. Okay, it gets protonated in your aqueous medium. The carbon gets protonated in your aqueous medium. The next step is what? The next step is deprotonation of your nitrogen by your base. This leads to the release of your nitrogen and again formation of a carbon. So there is a water formation followed by a release of your nitrogen and another molecule of carbon. Similarly, the last step is protonation of your carbanion in your aqueous medium to give your alkene, and you get back your base. So this is a base catalyzed reaction. First step is what? Formation of an hydrazone by reaction between your carbonyl compound and your hydrazine to form a hydrazone, that is C double bond N NH2. Now this the next step is what? Removal of your proton of your hydrazone by your base to form your carbanion, to form a carbon. If you see that the carbon gets a negative charge to form a carbanion. So once this carbanion is formed, it gets protonated by your water. Okay, this proton, this intermediate, that gets when then base attacks this intermediate to remove the proton from your nitrogen, leading to the release of your nitrogen and water, and again formation of a second carbanion. Now this second carbanion which is formed gets protonated by your water to give you an alkene. So this is the mechanism of action of your Wohl-Kirchner's reduction. This is the mechanism of action of your Wohl-Kirchner's reduction. Okay. So these are the. Now let's go for the third mechanism of action. Okay. Third, reagent. So before that, I would like to explain the reaction again. What is the first step? First step is the formation of your hydrazone. Hydrazone is nothing but reaction between your carbonyl compound and hydrazine, that is NH2 with the loss of water to form your hydrazone, that is C double bond N single bond NH2. That is your first step that is shown. Now this hydrazone that is formed gets deprotonated at your nitrogen by your base to give your carbanion. okay, to give your carbon. This carbon ion gets protonated by your water molecule which is present to give you an intermediate. Now next step is your deprotonation of a second hydrogen of a nitrogen by your base with the loss of nitrogen and formation of a corresponding carbon ion. So there is an electron transfer, it forms a carbon ion. Now this carbon again gets protonated in your water to give you corresponding alkene and your hydroxide ion. So this is your mechanism of action of your Wolff-Kishner reduction. Okay, so the difference between Wolff-Kishner reduction and and your Clemmensen reduction is Clemmensen reduction takes place in your acidic medium, whereas your Wolff-Kishner reaction takes place in your basic medium. Okay, it requires a basic medium to react. Okay, so these are the three reagents reactions. So now let's go for the next. That is your bridge reduction. Now what is this bridge reduction? Okay, this was reported in 1944 by an Australian chemist known as Arthur Bridge, working in Dyson Penne's laboratory at the University of Oxford. Okay, what was his observation? The bridge reduction converts. So what is it? The bridge reduction converts aromatic compounds having a benzoid ring. What do you mean by benzoid ring? Conjugated double bond, cyclic double bond. Okay, aromatic. A benzoid ring. So the criteria is very much, it should be a benzoid ring into its corresponding 1,4-cyclohexadiene, in which two hydrogen atoms have been attached on the opposite ends of your molecule. So if you see, you convert your benzene into its corresponding 1,4. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, the double bond is at the first and at the fourth position. Okay, cyclohexadiene, in which two hydrogens are introduced on the opposite ends of the molecule. At the first and the fourth position, the hydrogen gets in, and this reaction takes place in presence of what? So bridge reduction is the organic reduction of an aromatic ring in liquid ammonia and sodium, or lithium or a potassium and an alcohol such as ethanol or tertiary butanol. So what are the reagents which are used? You require an alcohol, you require sodium, and you require liquid nitrogen in liquid ammonia for this reaction. So this benzene reacts with liquid ammonia in presence of sodium and solvent as alcohols like your ethanol or a tertiary butanol to give your correspond 1,4-cyclohexadiene, where the H hydrogen atoms are introduced at the opposites end of the benzene at 1 and 4 position of your benzene ring. So now let's go for the mechanism of action. What is the first step in this mechanism of bridge reduction? There is an 1 electron transfer into your antibonding p orbitals of your aromatics. So first thing is electron transfer. So where does this electron come from? This comes from your sodium or metals or your lithium metals. So this sodium or lithium metals give away one of the electrons to your aromatic ring. So when the electrons attacks your benzene ring, so there is a transfer of electron. So when it transfer, if you see, when this electron comes over, this comes, and the 2 electrons gets added across the 4th carbon, and there is 1 electron extra at the 1st carbon. Okay, resulting in a product of radical anion. What is this? Why it is called radical anion? Because at the 1st carbon you can see 1 electron, and at the 4th carbon you can see 4 electrons. That's why it is called as radical anion. That's why it is called a radical anion, which is protonated by ethanol yielding cyclohexane dienyl radical. So when this gets protonated by alcohol, you get a radical. Okay, cyclohexane dienyl radical. Now this radical again gets protonated by your electron, and again this gets electron from your sodium or metal, which again gets protonated by your alcohol. Okay, it again gets protonated by your alcohol to give you a corresponding cyclohexadiene. Okay, so you get your, so surprisingly the final product, if sometimes it can be 1,4 cyclo and not thermodynamically stable 1,3 cyclo. So this is 1,4 cyclo instead of your 1,4 cyclo. This is your major product. So the product will be not at 1 and 3, but it will be at 1 and 4 cyclohexadiene. So this is the mechanism. So what is the first step? Now attack of your electrons on your, from that you get from your metal ions to the benzene ring. So when this electron attacks on the benzene ring, okay, there is a transfer of electron and the electron goes to the fourth carbon. This leads to a formation of a radical anion. This leads to a formation of your radical anion. Okay, this resonance stabilized allyl is converted into cyclohexadiene by an addition of electron. The first step is protonation. Again, after getting protonized, it gets converted to an cyclodiene radical. This radical gets again stabilized. There is an electron transfer. Again, there is an electron transfer, and this leads to a formation of cyclohexadienyl anion. Now, this cyclohexadienyl gets protonated by your alcohol, and the final product is your 1,4 cyclohexadiene. So this is your mechanism of action of your bridge reduction. So what happens in an substituted aromatic compound? The substituent controls the position of 1,4 double bonds. Okay, so which type of substitution has an effect on the position of the double bond? Now let us see if there is a carbonyl group. Okay, if there is an electron donating groups. Okay, let us see example. So electron donating group like alkoxy, alkyl, methyl at one end of the double bond of the product. What happens? Okay, and what happens if there is an electron withdrawing group like carbonyl, for instance, located at one position of your sp3 hybridized carbon? So what happens in this case? Now let us see the first case where there is an electron withdrawing group. Okay, that is like a carbonyl group. One of the electron comes from your sodium or lithium in liquid ammonia. So when the electron attacks on the first carbon, so there is a positive charge, so the negative charge is on the first carbon. It forms a radical anion. It gets protonated by your this thing. Now there is an again transfer of electron. Okay. Now this electron, cyclohexadiene anion, which is formed, gets stabilized by your carbonyl group. Gets stabilized by your carbonyl group. Okay. Why? Because the carbonyl group is your electron withdrawing, so it will reduce the charge on that carbon, thus stabilizing your resonance structure. Okay. And again it gets protonated by your butanol to give your product. Okay. To give your product. So instead of tertiary, if you take an alkyl halide, you get an alkyl this thing, because your sodamide will remove your halide and you give halide and you get your R substitution. So that is one product. Now the same reaction, if you see, let's consider the second reaction. So when there is, so what is the product? The product is 1,4 cyclohexadiene in case of electron withdrawing. Now what happens if there is an electron donating group? You see the structure properly. The electron attacks on the opposite side at the adjacent carbon. See why the electron attacks on the adjacent carbon. You see where is the electron attacking? It will not attack on the carbon where there is an group which is attached. Where there is an electron donating group, it will not attack. The electrons will not attack. The reason why. Now let us see the reason why. Now the electron, you get an radical anion, it gets protonated. Again one atom comes. So in this case, if there was an electron donating group at the same position, so it will destabilize the structure. It will destabilize the structure because of your electron donating. So electron donating group and a negative charge. So this will be highly unstable. So that's why it will be never on the same carbon. So if there is an alkoxy group, it will be to the adjacent carbons. So there will be a shift in your double bond. In case of this thing carbonyl group, it will be on the, your attack will be on the carbon. Whereas in case of an alkoxy group, the electrons will attack on the adjacent carbon of your alkoxy group. This is where your change occurs. This is where your change occurs. Okay. So this is what to be remembered. So if there is an alkoxy group, electron withdrawing group, then the electrons will attack on the first carbon where there is carbonyl group or any electron will. If there is an electron donating group, the electrons will attack on the carbon which is adjacent to the electron donating group, not on the same carbon which is substituted. It will be through the next carbon. So this is the difference between the two. Substitution has an effect on the substituent. Electron donating group you get on the same, whereas in the electron withdrawing group you get the on the 1 and 4 with the carbonyl attack, the electron attacks on the same carbon. Whereas in case of your electron donating groups, the electron will attack on the carbon which is adjacent to the substituent. That is your electron donating substituent. So these are the difference between the two substituents, electron donating and withdrawing